Welcome and thank you for landing on my site when you searched maybe USDA program, how to buy a house with no money down, what are the requirements to buy a home utilizing the USDA program. If you didn't Google that, thank you for landing on my page anyways, but we're going to get into what the USDA program is in Southern California, San Bernardino County, in the mountains community. So I'm going to focus on 19 cities in San Bernardino County that is in the approved lending area for USDA. So when you're searching for USDA, it must be in an approved lending area. It can't be in a populous area like the city of San Bernardino, Rancho Cucamonga, Ontario. It must be in a designated rural development classified by the USDA, and that's every 10 years when the census comes out. So we just had one a couple years back. Some things, cities came on, some cities came off. So right now, as I'm doing this video, these 19 cities are approved in the USDA lending area, which is Angelus Oaks, Big Bear City, Big Bear Lake, Blue Jay, Cedar Glen, Cedarpines Park, Crest Park, Crestline, Fawnskin, Forest Falls, Green Valley Lake, Lake Arrowhead, Lytle Creek, Rim Forest, Running Springs, Sky Forest, Sugarloaf, Twin Pines, and Wrightwood. Those 19 cities in the mountain communities at this moment is approved in the USDA lending area. And how to find that lending area for the USDA, I'm going to have the link below because it's this first. I just Googled USDA home loan map. It's going to take you to this long URL. So I'm going to have the URL in the video description. You click on this and it's going to take you to their landing page. You want to property eligibility. You're going to click accept here under the property eligibility. And I'm going to grab a address. So it needs an address to find that particular area and address. So right now this address is located in the eligible area. That's what it'll say. If it's not in the eligible area, it will say this is not, and it'll be in red. I'm going to pan out here so you can see the mountain communities. All this mountain communities right here is an approved lending area for USDA. All the shaded areas like San Bernardino, Rialto, Fontana, Highland, Mentone, Yucaipa, all this area right here is not approved in the lending area for USDA. The mountain communities is. So if you're looking in the mountain community to purchase your primary residence, cannot be a second home or a non-owner occupied. This must be your primary residence to qualify for the USDA. So it must be an approved lending area. And I can go all the way down to a street if need be. So if you're looking to purchase in North San Bernardino or Highland, Mentone, you're getting priced out. Maybe you need to go up the hill a little bit to Running Springs, Rim Forest, Sky Forest, Arrowhead, Highlands, Crestline, over in this particular area if you want to purchase in USDA approved areas. And if you want to own a home, this is an alternative as your primary residence. Also, USDA does require, so that's three things that we're going to talk about. The approved lending areas, the income. There is an income limit. If you're making $200,000 a year, you're not going to qualify for the USDA. There is an income limit. And San Bernardino County, for the income limit, which means you cannot make more than this amount up to 4 people dependents in the household, $104,650. If you got 3 people in the household and you make $150,000, this is not the program for you. You're not going to qualify. But if you got 5 people or more in the home that's going to be living there, $138,150. So if you've got 5 people in the household making $200,000, you're not going to qualify for this program. There is an income limit, and that's off your gross income as a W-2 employee. If you're a Schedule E filer or Schedule C filer, which is your business for self, there's a different way we calculate the income. We go off your net, not your gross. So we're going to have to look at your returns and see what your income is based on the returns. A W-2 employee, it's easy to qualify that. You don't make more than $104,650 up to 4 people. So that's one of the two, three things that we're going to talk about. The approved lending area, there is an income limit, and then there is a debt ratio limit. Okay, the debt to income ratio, that's your gross income of the $104,650 to what the house is going to have when it comes to principal and interest, homeowners insurance, property taxes, an HOA, mortgage insurance. That cannot be more than 29% on the front end. Okay, the front end. That's your front is what the home expenditures are going to be. That's not the utilities. That's just what the home payment's going to be. The HOA, principal and interest, homeowners insurance, property taxes, and the mortgage insurance. So that's going to be at 29%. The back end is going to be at 41%. So that's your front end home expenditures, and then your back end's 41. So it cannot exceed 41% of your gross. You make $100,000 a year, 41% is $4,100 going out the door. When it comes to the mortgage payment, as well as the student loans, credit cards, auto loans, anything that's coming on your credit report or anything that's deducted from your payroll, like child support or alimony. So that factors in there, and that's $2,941 if you have a credit score below a 680. Above a 680, we can go higher than that. As of right now, it is 32 on the front and 44 on the back end. 32 on the front, 44 on the back, that we can go higher, but you got to have a 680 or more. So if you have a 640, you're stuck at the 2941. And that is it. It's not 29.03, 29.05. It is 29% or below. Okay? The credit scores. USDA, they don't care if you have a credit score, but the lender does. So the USDA has a minimum requirements. That lender can do what's called an overlay. They can go, well, we're not going to lend anybody with a 600. We're going to minimize it to 620 or above or 640 above. So you got to find the lender that's going to go down below a 620. And the vast majority of the lenders start at 620, and the other half start about 640. So we'll have to look at your overall picture on your credit. If you don't have credit, let's establish some credit, and we can talk to you about how building that. So must be approved in a lending area, the USDA. You can get the address, and to make sure, you can, like I said, go right down to the street on the approved lending area. So let's go find right down to the street. So you can find the street right here, but you can see, just going by off this map, where it kind of cuts off. No home's going to be right at the cuff of the non-areas and the approved areas, but all the shaded stuff is non-approved. But to know specifically that it's approved in the lending area, go grab the address that you're looking at, plug it into this site. I'll have the link below, and you will see that it is approved area. Let me just press go again. This address is located in an eligible area. If it was not, it will say this property is not. It will be in red, and it says it's not approved in the lending area. So must be approved lending area. The income limits, went over that, $104,650 up to 4 people in the household. You can exceed that with more than 5 people in the household at $138,150 is the maximum income limit. 4 or 5 people and above. This is a great, great program with no money for the down payment. You will have to open up escrow. It's called an EMD, an earnest money deposit. Do speak with your realtor about that. You can open up $500, $250, $1,000. You just speak with your realtor on how you want to present your offer. It's no money down. So that earnest money deposit that you put into escrow will get applied towards your closing costs. You can ask the seller to pay for your closing costs. And another great thing about the USDA, if you're purchasing a home for $300,000, it appraises for $310,000. We can use that $10,000 freed up equity to finance your closing costs. This is the only purchase program that will allow you to finance your closing costs is the USDA, but the property must appraise higher than the agreed upon purchase that you're buying it for. You're buying it for $300,000, appraises for $310,000. There's that $10,000 of freed up equity. We can finance that closing cost. So essentially, you're buying a property with no money for the down payment, and you're financing your closing costs. You can buy a property. You've got to pay for the appraisal. A home inspection is not required, but highly recommended. Definitely speak with your realtor about that. Definitely do one. So for about $1,000 or less, you can own a home utilizing the USDA home program here in Southern California, San Bernardino County, in these mountain communities. So I'd love to talk to you about that. It's a great program. If you're looking to purchase in this particular area of San Bernardino County, the mountain communities, as your primary residence, remember, it's not utilized for a second home or a vacation home. You do not, I repeat, you do not have to be a first-time home buyer for this program. You can have a property, you sold it 8 months ago, you can rebuy it. You're not a first-time home buyer, you can be a first-time home buyer, it doesn't matter. It's not limited to first-time home buyers. It's got those 4 things that it's limited to. The debt-to-income ratio, the particular area that you're going to purchase in, the debt-to-income ratio, and the credit score. Most lenders are going to have a credit score. USDA does not necessarily require you to have a credit score, but you're going to have to find a lender that does not require the credit score. Most of the lenders out there are going to require a minimum credit score of a 620 or 640. Okay, so those are your 4 things that it needs to kind of happen on the USDA. And if you meet all those requirements, then USDA is a program for you. Obviously, we've got to go to underwrite and make sure everything qualifies. You do not need any assets. You don't need $10,000 in the bank. You can have $100,000 in the bank and still qualify for the USDA. Okay, so we need to look at that. If you exceed any one of those items, if you're going to exceed any of those requirements, then we got to look at maybe the conventional, the USDA program for you with that 3.5 to 3% down, depending on the program. But the USDA, no requirement for the down payment. Approved lending area, income limits, debt ratio limits, and the assets does not matter. And rates on the USDA program are great. They're just as competitive with the VA and the FHA. Click on the link below to get this area of the map. Click on the address and find it. And also the link below, you can check out our interest rates. A great program. I'd love to connect with you, talk to you about the USDA program in San Bernardino County Mountains. It's just, and this is throughout the whole every state, throughout the United States, every area practically in each state has an approved lending areas. You just got to find them. I'm licensed in the whole state of California. I'd love to talk to you about the USDA program in the San Bernardino mountain communities in those 19 cities that I mentioned. All my contact information is going to be below. I look forward to connecting with you.